Hello, everyone, and welcome to Chapter 3, Eckhart Tolle, The Core of the Ego. Hello, hello. I'm so glad you're here. I was going to do this earlier, but a bunch of people said it was too early for them to catch the live. I don't have anybody on the Zoom yet. If you do want to join on the Zoom so we can talk back and forth, go to my any of my social medias has the Zoom link, including on YouTube. Say hello when you pop in and let me know you're here. And did you read the chapter? Because this one is a big one for, it's everything in this book is very heavy. Everything. Hello, Lori. Hello, stay tuned. Hello, Gina. Everything is pretty heavy. Actually, I have to text someone because they asked me for a reminder. And so just be patient with me and I will be with you. So let me know, how's the weather? It's still 90 darn degrees where I am. And very beautiful and sunny, but I'm still staying indoors as much as possible because it's so darn hot. So let me know how things are going there. I am, I don't want to jinx it. Hi, Gina. Cloudy in NorCal. Oh, I miss the cloudy NorCal chilly days. I lost my train of thought. I don't know what I was going to say. All right. So if in a few minutes nobody pops on the Zoom, I'm just going to do this regular olden style. Lori said, for some reason, this chapter seemed pretty clear to me. Bay Area is waiting for you. I know. 67 degrees in Seattle, still warm at 80 in NorCal. Okay. Yeah, I guess it depends where you are in NorCal. So this chapter talks about complaining, which I always say complaining is my favorite. Like 50 in Bayfield, Wisconsin. Ooh, it's freezing. Debbie, there's a Zoom link on my, let me grab it and put it in the chat if I can do it quickly. It's nice to have the Zoom going as well because, oh no, where's the Zoom link? It's nice to have the Zoom as well because you can talk back and forth with me. Here, I will put it in. You shouldn't need a passcode, but I'll put it in there. So just grab that link and copy paste it in your browser and you should be able to pop on. Okay. I don't know why that double posted, but that's all right. Okay. Here we go. Back to the chapter. All right. So the Zoom link's there. If anybody wants to join the Zoom, it should jingle when you join, and then I will share the screen. So this chapter talked about complaining, of being of the ego. And when I first read it all those years ago, I was surprised because I just never thought about it that way. Like I never thought complaining was egotistical. I know being right is egotistical. That's pretty easy. But complaining it just surprised me. I was like, what? Not me. It's like going to therapy and realizing that you made mistakes in a relationship. So I'm just looking through the chapter here. So it says, as long as you are completely unaware of this, you take the thinker to be who you are. So we're always thinking. This is the egoic mind. We call it egoic because there is a sense of self, of I, ego, in every thought, every memory, every interpretation, opinion, viewpoint, reaction, emotion. This is unconsciousness, spiritually speaking. You're thinking, the content of your mind, Let's see. Oh, I have to open this up. Let's allow the participants. Okay, Debbie's here. Okay. Hi, Debbie. I'm going to add you to the screen. Everybody just be patient. There is some feedback, Debbie.
Moments matter. Should I mute?
I'm hearing something in the background.
Sorry, I forgot.
That's okay. It's okay. All right, Debbie's here. I don't know if Jeannie and I'm trying to do too many things. That's the problem here. I don't know if Jeannie and Cindy will join because I think they had to work. Okay. All right. Here we go. Here we are. We're here. To be clear, I keep putting Trump in margins. What do you mean, Lori? Explain. Okay, so we were talking about complaining and the ego, and I was just reading a quote. And by the way, everybody that's joining, I will be live at 8 Eastern doing different types of readings tonight on YouTube here. So if you want to join for readings, I will be live again at that time. So this is unconsciousness spiritually speaking. So basically oh no, we lost her. All right. So basically when you are conscious, you're aware, you're evolving spiritually is what this is saying. When you're in an unconscious state, this isn't the biological term of being unconscious. It is the spiritual or emotional unconsciousness that he's talking about. And it's when you're in unconsciousness, that's when you're thinking, your mind is conditioned by the past, your upbringing, your culture, your family background, and so on. So it's when you have a lot of negative things going through your mind, when you're stuck in old patterns. Let's just say that when you're stuck in old patterns. And I know there's two of me. I'm waiting for Debbie to pop back on. Oh, Trump has been doing a lot of the exact complaining, the book. Oh yeah, exactly. So hi, Mandy. It's so wonderful to have this book club happening at this time because there's so much in it that, page 61. There's so much in this book that is, so perfect for what we're going through now. So perfect. It says, page 61, because when I criticize or condemn another, it makes me feel bigger, superior. Exactly. I have that. I have my own little scratchy notes in the line. I probably have that same exact line. It's like name calling. And it's funny because right now, oh yeah, I have the same line underlined right here, Lori, the same exact one. Right now, there's been some First Amendment issues happening in the public eye, and it is an absolutely perfect example of the bloated, enormous, gigantic ego of this person who lives in the White House. He is such a delicate flower. He's people have criticized presidents. Every single president gets lambasted over and over and over and over and over by many people, by the media, by comedians. It's always been that way. And he's just so sensitive, his panties are ruffled. I'm being funny. But anyway. All right, Debbie, what do you think?
I'm sorry, I'm a little lost.
Oh,
Skip me for a while. I'm sorry.
No. We're in chapter 3 talking about the ego, the bloated ego, and one of the commenters has talked about the person in the White House complaining, doing the exact complaining that the book identified, and I was just giving an example.
Right.
Yeah. So any complaining, my complaining, your complaining. I was actually, what was I doing? Right before I came on the live, I did something and I was complaining about it. And I'm like, I just read that complaining is of the ego 5 minutes ago. And then I started complaining immediately after. So it's,
if you stay really busy, it doesn't catch you.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. So please put in the comments, and Debbie, please feel free to just say whatever's on your mind about the chapter. Did you finish reading chapter 3?
I did. And then I had about 45 minutes before this started, before I could figure out how to find you. And then I thought, oh, I better read it again. And it's like, oh, it's like all new words all over again. It's like, I have to underline some more, some more.
Yeah. Exactly. Stay tuned. This is a great question. If we complain about the orange turd, is that an ego thing? Yes, it is. And I do it a lot. So, yes, it is of our ego. I'm actually glad I'm rereading this book because it's reminding me. Any complaining about him, any of his buddies, anybody that follows him, any of that complaining is of the ego. Any time we're angry, that's of the ego, because when we're angry, we're trying to prove our point, right? We're mad that they don't see things our way. Now, I believe our way is the right way, right? That's because that's what side I'm on. But we are
again, that's ego.
Right. Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
I mean, his trick is to get us to fight amongst ourselves and, get stuck in our ego.
Yes. And that's the whole point, divide and conquer. And there are other nefarious countries infiltrating, and have been for years, our social media, the bots. I got relentlessly attacked on a live stream I did with another creator last week, at the beginning of last week. So much, I was so upset about it, I had to reschedule my readings that day. But it had to be a troll farm because it was like immediate. Yeah. And I only talked about it for a couple minutes, and it was immediate, and they all said the same thing. And there were hundreds of them. And it just, I was in my ego, like, oh, poor me. They don't like me and they don't like what I said, when we may believe our point of view, but that's our truth, and our truth isn't always a fact. Now, I believe wholeheartedly what I believe is true and the better choice, right? I believe that to my core. But what if I'm wrong? I don't think I'm wrong, but I am using my ego, and this is for anybody who can take this message. I'm using my ego to try to force other people to believe the way I believe. And that's not right. Informing people of factual information is one thing, but trying to convince them to come to your belief system is different.
Like we have to let go.
And that brings me to another quote. One of my favorite quotes in this chapter. I've had it posted on Post-it notes all over my house for many years, since I got this book. He says towards the second to last third of the chapter, what you resist persists.
Mine too. That's my favorite.
Yep. What you resist persists. And what did we call our group, the resistance, the past few years, right? And as soon as that all the women who were getting together to form the resistance. And I thought, oh, that is ego, because of the Eckhart Tolle book, right? That is ego. That is not going to work, because the more you resist, the more it persists. This is pertinent to what's happening with the nighttime shows. They actually helped him get elected the first and the second time by complaining about him and talking about him all the time.
Right.
They are giving him airtime every day, all of them. The same with the mainstream media, constant coverage, all ego, all helping him. And the more they resisted, look what's happening now. So we have to, I talked about this on my podcast that came out this morning. It's a little more passionate. I share more detailed opinions, but there's something called I wrote it down, the extinction burst, it's called. And it's when you have a toddler. Let's say a toddler's having a fit. Everybody's seen a toddler have a fit, right? When you feed into that toddler's fit, the toddler keeps having a fit. But if you don't feed into the toddler's fit, if you just stand there and be calm and patient, this toddler comes to the extinction burst, where he runs out of energy and he's not getting a reaction out of you. So it doesn't feed the toddler's energy, because you're not reacting. This happens with adults too. If you've ever had an argument with somebody who's pulling you in, that they talk about this later in the book. The more you get pulled into an argument, the more you're feeding the energy, right? If you just remain calm and breathe through it and don't try to prove your point. Don't try to prove your point, because most people, when they're arguing, are committed to misunderstanding you, or they're not ever going to come to your side. Like, you can show me 1,000 facts about why the climate isn't changing, and you're never going to convince me, right? You could show me videos, and these things exist. The opposing view of climate change, right? I don't believe it. I think it's crappy science. It's terrible science. It's all paid for by oil companies. You can show me all of it, and you're not going to change my mind, right? Same thing with politics. Same thing with people who believe the earth is flat. We have millions of hours of video of the spherical earth, and all the other planets are spherical, which the flat earthers believe everything else is a sphere except the earth. So
they were just, I didn't really think that they really believed the earth is flat.
I thought
that was just some kind of crappy name they give them.
They think the earth is flat. I think it's adversarial personality disorder, personally. It doesn't make sense. All right. Lori said, surround yourself only by people who feed your inflated self-image. They become incapable of genuine relationships. Page 83. Absolutely. I have these 2 whole pages are yellow in my book. I don't know if you can see all of these. Yellow. Highlighted all of these. All right. 83. Surround yourself only. Yeah. So towards the bottom, it says the absurd overvaluation of fame. Oh, it's just one of the many manifestations of egoic madness in our world. And that is why people who become famous, actors, actresses, athletes, famous people of any kind, they end up having severe addiction problems, unaliving themselves. So many things happen when the fame goes away, right? There's, say, let's give an example. A woman turns 30 and she gains 5 pounds and she can't get a role in an acting gig, right? Because, oh my gosh, she's 130 pounds instead of 125, right? Or she's got 1 wrinkle, and that can be devastating, because this woman, whoever she is, may have identified so much with her beauty and her status as a famous actress and, her famous bags and shoes and clothes and limos or whatever. And then all of a sudden that stops. And now what can she do with her life? Because she's identified with that role. It's the same thing with somebody who identifies to be a teacher or a nurse or a mother or a man who identifies as an athlete. That becomes their identity. Like, I'm a medium, but that's not my identity. I also do a million other things. So we have to understand that when we have a job or we have a hobby or something that we're really, really into, that's not you. That's a part of your life, but that's not who you are. And some people get so deep into it, it takes them over. Were you going to say something, Debbie?
Nope.
Okay.
What? I thought about something, then I thought I better not.
You say whatever you want.
I'll pass.
Okay. It says some famous people fall into the same error and identify with the collective fiction, the image people and the media have created of them, and they begin to actually see themselves as superior to ordinary mortals. As a result, they become more and more alienated from themselves and others, more and more unhappy, more and more dependent on their own continuing popularity. Surrounded only by people who feed their inflated self-image, they become incapable of genuine relationships. I just watched. Pardon?
That's like who.
Yeah. I think he's probably a sociopath or a psychopath.
Well, right. There's
something else going on in there.
But that's one piece. That's one piece.
Let's see. When we can ignore the negativity and focus on what we should do to raise the vibration, the negativity goes away. Right. The extinction burst. Right. That's exactly right, Vivian. She said, I once had a manager who told me I'm very good at ignoring coworkers who tried to give me hell. They lost energy to challenge me when I don't waste my energy responding to them. And that's true in any type of relationship. Yep. You don't feed into it. You don't. If you've ever known a narcissist or somebody who's narcissistic, again, people who try to pull you into arguments and pulling you in. And later in the book, he talks about that. I don't remember what chapter it's in, but he'll talk about our pain body. Eventually, the pain body comes in, and that's the rhythm of when your pain comes up. Like, for example, let's say your family goes to your in-laws for Christmas, and your spouse has to put on this fake facade that his or her family pretends that he is, right? He's this fake person. He or she's this fake person for 3 or 4 days with the family. And they're holding all that in. They're holding it in. They got to hold it in. They have to keep that act going. And then you get in the car to leave. And within 10 minutes, the explosion of emotions happens.
Yeah.
Because they've held it all in. They've had to be disingenuous to themselves and to their family and to everyone else. It's like a different person you're married to, right? Because they have to put on these airs. Now, none of that is true. You do not have to pretend you're somebody else. You do not ever have to pretend you're somebody else. And that pisses people off when you're real and you tell them the truth. But we suffer when all of that pain body, especially with family that has unresolved issues, which is most families, when you have to be around them and you don't feel comfortable sharing how you really feel, and it's a dysfunctional environment, you hold on and hold on and hold on, and it has to come out at some point. And then that pain body is activated, and holding on, and the ego and pain body are like best friends. And so the burst comes out in the car ride or plane ride or whatever on the way home because your spouse usually would feel most comfortable with you to share that. You know them better. So don't feed into it. If somebody's having one of these emotional outbursts, as long as they're not attacking you, sometimes people just need to get it out. They need to get it out because they don't feel safe getting it out. As long as they're being respectful, just don't feed into it. Now, if they're disrespectful and mean to you, obviously leave that situation and go take a walk or something till they calm down. Stay tuned. When do you have time to do anything else, Nik? You're always working. Well, I'm very lucky because my kids are grown and don't live with me. So I'm lucky that way. And I work from home. So I'm at home all the time. And my husband is a coach. So he works in the, all day and in the evenings. So, and he has games. That's why I do this on Friday night, because he's gone at football games. So, yeah, this is my journey. I'm happy to be doing this and helping people. It's my passion. It's not who I am though, because I'm not identifying.
Thank you for doing it.
Okay, so let's see. Any other comments? All right, so I'm going to give some key concepts in this chapter. Comment as you will. Debbie, feel free to interrupt me because I'm reading my notes and I can't see you. Key concept number 1 in chapter 3, ego as identification with form, which is what we've been talking about. People identify with their job, their hobby, their whatever, their favorite thing, their purse, their car, their house, their boat, whatever it is. Identifying with something that is material, that is not spiritual at all. The illusion of more. Ego constantly wants more, right? More recognition, more superiority. It's never satisfied. Somebody was talking about the person who lives in the White House earlier, a couple people. Never satisfied. It's always give me more, give me more, give me more. And bad attention is attention. It's like a little kid who will do mean things to get attention. He'll break the rules to get attention because any attention is attention, right? Everybody's aware that kids do that, right? Kids who aren't getting healthy attention from their parents will get in trouble for attention. Let's see. The role of complaining, we talked about that. Complaining is the ego's way of making itself right and others wrong. And sticking to being right is also something I did years ago, but I almost am not sure if it was because I wanted to be right. I think I have undiagnosed a little bit of autism. I'm not diagnosed, so I don't know, but both my parents were addicts. I'm probably somewhere on the spectrum now. Hindsight's 2020. But when I would be trying to prove something to someone as a kid or a teenager in my 20s or 30s, I feel like it was more so they know the facts, right? I wanted them to know the facts, like, the earth is 150 million kilometers from the sun. That's a fact. And if you didn't believe me, I wanted to show you the fact. So, but as I've matured, it's like, if you want to believe the
They
earth,
don't care about the facts.
no, right, exactly.
It doesn't.
Exactly. Hi, Abby. Stay tuned said, my parents always told me to stop complaining when my sister picked on me. Just ignore her, and she would stop, and she did. Exactly. I have 2 sons, and I used to have to say the same thing. Lori Moore said, that's a hard one, wanting to prove your thoughts by using facts. Hard to give that up. Oh, I know. But I've come to a point where it's like, because I have a person in my life I love dearly, and this person loves to argue politics with me. And I tried showing them facts. I tried, and they just, again, committed to misunderstanding what I'm saying. And so I've decided I'm not
Surrender.
that, right, surrender. There's nothing else I can show this person to prove anything I'm saying. They're going to believe what they're going to believe. The internet is available. I'm here. I can show them facts, let them go on with their life. And it's an energy drain. It's an energy drain. And that's the other thing why I have energy to do these things, because I'm very particular on who I share my energy with. It's saved. I save it for the important stuff. Let's see.
I noticed that, I noticed that more and more as I'm saying, oh boy, become more aware, more conscious, whatever that part is, that I'm less drawn to continue those relationships. They're
Yes.
falling away. And it's like, I've been through this before where people fell away and now it's going again. So
that
maybe something good is happening.
That's part of the spiritual growth. When you stop resisting, right? You're just like,
right.
It's not like you're either with me or against me, right? It's like, I have all of these things to share with you. I love you. I welcome you with open arms. And it's your choice.
And now that I don't resist, they don't bother me. They don't come around. They don't bother me.
That's great. Great. That's great.
There'll be more. Yeah. There'll be more. I'm done.
Abby said, agree to disagree. That's right. That's all. Agree to disagree. Agree to disagree. I have to have dinner next weekend with someone who I have an extreme difference of political opinion on everything. And it's a work thing for my husband, and I kind of have to go. So I had my.
Are you all going to the White House?
No.
Sorry.
I wouldn't go there. No. I've been to the White House before, actually, but not during this administration.
I'm sorry.
I have a t-shirt that says, when you are neutral in situations of, what does it say? Injustice. When you're neutral in situations of injustice, you are on the side of the oppressor. And so I just actually have had that t-shirt before, and I had to throw it away because it was falling apart because I wore it so much. And I just had a new one made. So hopefully it'll be here in time to wear. And my sister said, you got big. B-E-A-L-L. I'm like, I don't care. What? I don't care. Freedom of speech for now.
Do we still have that? Do we still have that?
It's situational. Lori said, bravo, protect your energy with the right people. Exactly. Stay tuned said, if we can get past that snap reaction of trying to prove being right, hopefully it will become a habit. Yes. And that's what we want. We want to change our habits. And it's amazing, as many times as I've read this book, I haven't read it in a couple of years. It's amazing the things I forgot in the book. There's so much in there. So resentment is the ego clinging to an old story of being wronged, keeping the pain alive. The old story of being wronged, keeping the pain alive. So everybody on earth has had resentments to somebody. There's always somebody we have. You may not have the resentments now, but let's say you always did the dishes every single day and nobody else in your family ever offered to help. You cooked and did dishes. This is a very common problem, right? You cooked and did dishes every day for your family. Nobody helped. You build a resentment for that, right? You build a resentment. And I know for me, I built a huge resentment. And then I realized I needed to take responsibility for the fact that I should have asked and been more specific and more adamant that my family help me, because I cooked 99% in my memory when my kids were growing up. I cooked 99% of the meals. I don't think my husband grilling a steak outside while I did all the other food is him cooking. So, but I built a huge resentment because then I was the one cleaning. And even though I told my boys and they had a list, they had to do the chores, they just ignored it. And I should have been more of a bitch about it. I just should have. I should have been more upfront and honest and said, look, I can't do everything. You have to help me. I'm going crazy. I should have done that. And I didn't. So yes, they should have done what they were supposed to do, but I also should have spoken up for myself more. But I had a resentment. That's of the ego. I didn't approach that in the right way. So that's just a simple example. Anybody here have any resentments they want to put in the chat? Debbie, have you ever resented anybody?
Well, do we have enough time?
No, we have 24 minutes.
No.
If you can get
No,
it all
I'll
in 20.
pass. Yeah.
Specialness and superiority. Ego often creates a false sense of specialness to cover up insecurity. That's the problem. People with bloated egos think they're so special, but really they're masking very severe insecurity. It's as easy to spot as the stripes on a zebra. People who are always like, I'm the best, I'm the greatest. And then years later, you're like, oh, wow. There's a million famous people. I hate picking on the guy in the White House all the time because he's like the poster boy for ego. But his whole thing is he's a deeply insecure, deeply unloved as a child, neglected, probably abused and traumatized child. I mean, it's as clear as day. Yeah, it's as clear as day. Let's see. Gina has a lot of resentment. Stay tuned. Resented your sister. I hope you worked it out. Debbie said, I get asked what's for dinner. My favorite response is whatever you are fixing. Very good. Hi, Debbie Trap. It's okay. And stay tuned. So I started, I'm a smart ass. I will admit I am snarky and I will say things. And so my husband,
that's good.
My husband will get a package, a pair of shorts. He's a coach, so he has to have a lot of like sports shorts and, whatever they wear because it's hot where we live. And every time he gets them, I'm like, oh, did you buy me another present? Or anything. He'll bring anything home. Oh, did you get me a so-and-so? Oh, blah, blah, blah. I'm just a smart ass because it's like pointing out. And that's my ego, right? I can buy myself a present if I want a present. I don't really need a present. I'm just being a smart aleck. But it helps keep me from building resentments. So I'm just showing you my imperfect self. Vivian used to resent her parents for not caring about my emotions. Now I realize they don't have the ability to be aware of my emotions, and I never express my feelings. So this is important. As we mature, we start to realize our parents are people, and that's hard to accept. And then when you are a parent and your children become adults, you hope that they realize you're a person because sometimes they never do. They just resent you forever. So we just have to get to a point where we have compassion for the things they went through. Both my parents were addicts / alcoholics. They obviously just didn't come out that way, right? Something happened to both of them in their own families that caused them to go down that track. And together they were toxic. Gina T says, my family equals weaponized incompetence. Yes. Weaponized incompetence is one of the most beautiful terms I've ever learned. And for those of you who are watching who don't know what that is, or who are watching the replay, weaponized incompetence is when a spouse, and usually they pick on the man for this, but it can go either way. When a spouse pretends not to notice the kids need to be fed. When a spouse pretends the baby doesn't need its diaper changed. When the spouse pretends he doesn't know the laundry needs to be done, or doesn't notice the dishes in the sink. Or you ask him to go to the grocery store and they call you 15 times asking for specifics when they've been eating the groceries and looking at the packaging you've bought for years. That's weaponized incompetence.
I thought they were just deficient. I mean, I didn't realize it was weaponized. I just thought, they're only an X and a Y. We're two X's. They got one gene deficient in every cell of their body.
When I taught biology for 20 years, and I used to say that very thing, that the women are superior because they have two full X's and the men have that little tiny Y that's missing a whole leg. That's why we're better. I used to say that all the time.
I still do. Gets me in trouble now then.
Yeah, that's okay. Ugh. Keep speaking your truth. And Lori says, or how to do anything. And I see this, I see these videos where wives will say, the whole family's coming over for dinner and I asked my husband for help and he's out in the front trimming the trees. And she's in the kitchen and she's got, 30 recipes going at once. But she had, like me, I had that same problem. She has to take accountability for the fact that she doesn't go out, grab his ass and say, listen, I don't need the trees trimmed. I need you to set the table. I need you to finish cooking the potatoes. I need you to wash these dishes. I need you to, whatever it is. We have to do better too. It's not just the men that are getting picked on all the time. We also have a voice. And we can't, women's brains and men's brains are different. We have the ability, most women I know, not all women, most women I know have the ability to do 10,000 calculations in their brain at one time. They can feed the baby while they're driving. They can, turn the radio. They can check the mirror. They can do, make a phone call. They can do all these things all at once. Men don't have that. Most men that I know don't have that multitasking ability. So we have to say, do A, B, C, and D. And then once they're trained, they can figure it out, hopefully.
So is it they were taught that way from birth, or I think
part of it's biological because literally our brains are different. Our brains are wired very differently. Part of it's biological. In my husband's case, his mother was Southern and she was a teacher also. Mm-hmm. She worked full time. She had 3 boys and a husband who also worked. She did every dish, every stitch of laundry, made every bed every single day, his entire life. She did everything. He moved out and didn't know how to wash a dish. Never did laundry in his life because that's what she did. So he had to learn. He knew how to mow the lawn. He loves mowing the lawn. but he had to learn all those things. Luckily for me, I've never ever had to clean up after my husband. Never. He does all the laundry. He cleans up after himself. He never ever leaves a mess.
Wow.
I know. It's a miracle.
Wow.
Now, doing the dishes when I needed them done, that's a different story. He'll clean up after himself. But I'm very lucky. I've never picked up a sock, never had to put the shoes away, nothing.
Wow.
Never. He's very clean, very neat, keeps everything organized. I think because his mom keeps all his stuff organized and that's how he likes to keep it. But some men don't do anything. And I was adamant because I have 2 adult sons to teach them how to do everything around the house. So their wives in the future, or husbands, they happen to both have wives, wouldn't have to do all that stuff that I had to do. Like, they know how to clean a toilet. They know how to scrub a shower. They know how to wash the dishes, mop the floor, do the laundry. They were doing laundry from like the time they were 10 years old, their own laundry, because I was working 2 jobs. Somebody had to be there to do their laundry, and I had to teach them. So we went off track, but that's okay. Lori said accountable or responsible and just blame others for their problems. Right. Yes. Abby said, oh my God, Nik, my ex had the exact same home life, down to the parents being teachers and mom doing everything. Yep. Now, does your husband clean up after himself now? Did he when you met him? Gina said, my niece doesn't do anything and she's in her early 20s. Oof. See, like I said on one of my lives the other day, I'm a tough love mom. Both my boys have bought their own home and never gotten a dime from me or my husband for it. They worked and saved their money. They bought their own cars. We taught them, we're teachers. If you want something, you better work and save, because teacher money is not, Wall Street money, right? And they did it. They both did it. I'm so proud of them. Stay Tuned said, I did the same thing with my son, and his wife is very thankful. Yes, exactly. I had to tell my first daughter-in-law, look, my son knows how to do all these things. Don't let him pretend he doesn't. So she's like, oh, really? I'm like, yes, he was taught all of these things. So don't. Let's see. So you're saying you didn't have to do it? I can't remember what I asked you, Abby. Did he clean up after himself? I can't remember. Tell me if he cleaned up after himself or no. Hi, Marlena. I'm glad you're here. Okay, we got off track. Back on track. All right, so next is the I am beyond ego. True essence of self is not roles. That's funny because we were just talking about roles, possessions, or status, but awareness itself. Eckhart Tolle points us back to presence, the being that notices thoughts rather than being lost in them. And that's why I do the Monday morning meditation for non-meditators. Oh, he did nothing. Oh, Abby, I'm sorry. Carol said, tough love is me. Yeah, you have to have tough love. You have to. 8 o'clock, I'm doing readings, Marlena, at 8 o'clock. When this is over, I'm going to take a little break and I'm going to come back and do readings at 8. It's a separate live stream, but it'll be on YouTube. So everybody come to YouTube. I really prefer you watch me on YouTube, and subscribe there if you haven't already. All right. So so the meditations on Mondays help us to, or any meditation, doesn't have to be my meditation. Any meditation is fine. It takes you out of the train of thoughts. Like when you wake up in the morning and you're like, oh, I got to do this and I got to do that. And this is happening and blah, blah, blah. The meditation slows that down and clears your mind so you can not have that train of thoughts just constantly going. We have to slow it down. I always tell people when I see they're starting to freak out, just take 3 deep breaths. 3 deep breaths. 3 deep breaths. That's all you need to do. Be present in the moment. You're in the grocery store, you're in the line, and the lady ahead of you is writing a check, and you're just irritated because you got to get home. It's hot. You got a cart full of ice cream or whatever, and you just want to go home. You're just sick of the grocery store. Just take 3 deep breaths and be in the present moment, and things will move along. You're not going to be stuck at the grocery store forever. 3 deep breaths. Just be present. And that's where the meditation helps. Eckhart Tolle also has the book, The Power of Now, which really helps explain this in much more detail. We can't control everything that's happening in the world around us. It's impossible. So it's important to be in the present moment. In the present moment. All right. So I'm going to, for sake of time, I'm going to ask some discussion questions. So answer in the chat. Think about how we've talked about the ego, the me, I'm identified with this job or that job or this role or this thing, or I complain a lot, or I gossip. Gossiping is a big one, because I know something special that you don't know. And if I give you the information, I'm more powerful. That's also a hard one because I have a lot of sisters and we've gossiped a lot over the years. So think about a moment when your ego felt threatened. How did you notice it? Like, did you feel like your ego was coming up? Like your somebody was trying to tear you down in a way? Somebody was telling you you're wrong? Anything like that? And how did you notice it? So put that in the chat. Debbie, do you have any examples?
Well, I was just thinking, I have a bunch of sisters too, 4 sisters, a bunch of nurses. Oh God. And we're all up in years and things are starting to happen. And it's like somebody wants to call and say, well, and it's like, I had some knowledge of something and I had my sister on the phone and I thought, nope, it's not my place. If it'll happen, it'll happen. It's not my place. I'm catching myself before I get hooked, which is different than what I used to do. And I don't know if it's reading this book or if it's the energy or whatever. But I tell you, I think I don't know if I told you or not, but last week or maybe before we did this book or right at the beginning, there was this overwhelming sense of peace that came over me. And I don't know where it was from, but I accepted it and I felt it and I'm trying to hold on to it. It's not as present. I don't feel it as strongly this moment as I did when I first felt it, but it's like, oh, it's there. If I can just hold on to, if I can just get it back.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that makes sense.
It makes perfect sense. There's a combination of things happening. I truly believe we're going through a major shift in energy and great spiritual growth. Like a bunch of people are suddenly awakening. And I think this goes in a pattern, like a bunch of people awaken and then it kind of dwindles off a little bit. And then a bunch of, and right now is the perfect recipe for a mass awakening.
Well, I'm getting it. I'm there. Yeah. I'm getting there.
Because mine happened about a year, my mediumship awakening happened about a year before COVID hit. And that's when I started having it. A lot of people woke up during that time.
Is mediumship when you know something that you don't know why you know it, but you know
that's part of it. Claircognizance is actually the term you're looking for.
Boy, that's happening.
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah.
I wake up at 4 o'clock every morning. I don't know why, but it's like I get answers and I'm not hearing voices, but it's like, oh, okay. So I just thank whoever.
It's you're getting downloads. Those are called downloads. Yes. And claircognizance is knowing something before it happens or knowing something about somebody before they tell you. Yeah.
I think I've had claircognizance for a long time and I just didn't put a word to it. Mm-hmm. And I look back and I think my mother had it. Mm-hmm. Because I always said she had eyes in the back of her head, but she knew things before they happened or, oh boy.
It's interesting because claircognizance is like telepathy. I mean, they're similar.
Okay.
And so most of the time mothers have that, right? And I always ask, I feel like trauma increases people's telepathy. And I always ask, what came first, the trauma or the telepathy? Did we become more telepathic or claircognizant because we were always on high alert, right? I'm always on high alert, as a child, I'm always on high alert because I don't know what's going to happen next. So are my awarenesses heightened? And this is for anybody who experiences, or my awareness is more heightened. And so it's kind of like when someone's blind, they hear better, kind of like that
right.
heightens
Yeah,
that.
right.
So I've always wondered about that. But
Well, I don't know what the trauma is, but boom.
well, I'm not saying for you may not have the trauma. I'm just saying
well, okay. It's all right.
I hope you
Maybe
don't.
I hit myself on the
I hope you don't have the trauma. Not everybody does. I was just saying that was just a lot of people who are mediums and telepathic have trauma in their background.
Like near-death experiences or something.
Near-death experience, some type of abuse, emotional abuse, neglect, whatever. It could have been anything. Stay Tuned said, at work, I thought someone was trying to one-up me for spite. I felt defensiveness and pain welling up. I was wrong. Good. What did you do about it? What did you do about it? Vivian said, very interesting. Yeah, about the trauma or telepathy, because I think we talked about some of that stuff leading up to that, Vivian. All right, next question. How does recognizing ego patterns help reduce conflict in relationships? So this also goes to that comment made by Stay Tuned. She noticed the ego pattern and hopefully that reduced the conflict at work. So let me know what you did. Did you say something? Did you just let it flow? What'd you do? Do you feel society encourages, oh, this is a dumb question. I'm sorry. Do you feel society encourages ego identification, status, possessions, and roles? How do you navigate that? Obviously. Obviously. I navigate it by, I don't know, I never really cared about things, material things. I like to have a house that's nice and clean and in a neighborhood where I feel safe, and a car that runs. Other than that, I wouldn't recognize a name brand purse or pair of shoes if you hit me over the head with them. Just not important to me. That's just me. I live in Florida, lots of tank tops and shorts and flip-flops. That's about the extent of my wardrobe. Stay Tuned had to ask herself if your feelings had any merit. I worked hard to let it go. Very good. And it ended up being nothing, right? It ended up not having to do with you. And if anybody, where'd I put it? Here it is. I probably should have started with this book, but we'll do this one next. You have the 4 agreements?
I pull a card every morning and meditate on that every morning when I get up. I had the book, but I like the cards.
I haven't seen the cards.
Oh, I'll bring them next time. In the other rooms.
The 4 agreements, one of the agreements is don't take anything personally. And that if there is nothing else you learn from the 4 agreements or anything else I've ever said, don't take anything personally, because nothing anyone does is because of you. Everyone's in there. My husband, he's like, does this shirt go with these pants, or does this hat look good? Whatever. He's asking me. I go, honey, or is this haircut? Because he keeps his hair really short. And he's always worried there's a little, gap in it or something. And I'm like, Doug, nobody's looking at you and thinking about whether your hat matches your shirt, right? Nobody cares.
Oh,
well, no, I'm not being insulting. I'm just like, everybody's so thinking, does my shirt look good?
Yes.
Does my butt look too big? Do these earrings match this bracelet? Everybody's thinking about is, themselves and not thinking about how anybody else looks
outside.
Unless you're a judgy mean girl. There are groups of judgy mean girls, but that's for another podcast. That's for another episode. Mandy said, I love the 4 agreements. I've read several of them. Yeah. There's several books by Don Miguel Ruiz, and I have a bunch of them, and they're so good. The good thing about these is they're short and clear and beautifully written. Beautifully written. So let's see. Gina said I wore that a few years, I read that a few years ago. Gina, again, I wore my t-shirt backwards or my shirt backwards. I was too tired to care. I was in the store. Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. All right. So, I'm running short on time. All right. So, closing thoughts. The ego is not who you are. It's a temporary story you are telling yourself. When you step back into awareness, you reclaim freedom, peace, and connection with others beyond comparison or judgment. So we are not our ego. Our ego is this person in our brain that tries to convince us to be more self-important. And we all need to realize we're part of the collective consciousness. We're here to love, and we're here to love unconditionally. And I hope we can all raise our consciousness, raise the awareness of peace and kindness, no judgment. Try hard to see that people just want to live happy lives and love their family and be happy. And we are all just trying to do that the best we can in this crazy world. And it's getting crazier by the day. So thank you guys for being here, Debbie. It's been lovely. I'll probably be back on Saturday morning next week. I have to travel tomorrow, so that's why we had this book club tonight. If you're watching the replay, thank you. I will be back in 30 minutes, and I'm going to be doing readings and Q&A. I'll do some card pulls and some mediumship. So I'll be back on YouTube. I prefer everyone watch me on YouTube rather than anywhere else. So
Saturday at 10 o'clock.
I'll post it.
Saturday.
I have to check my
Okay.
schedule. I'll post it. And possessions aren't really that important to me also. Yeah. Same thing, Marlena. Okay. I will see you guys in 30 minutes. Thank you. Thank you, Debbie. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Love and hugs. Keep the vibe high. Bye. Chapter 4 next week.
Okay.
Love you guys.